All right, everybody. You guys know how I feel about covering Hodge Twins content. It's not the most fun thing on the planet, but you know, we're gonna do it anyway. Why not? This one is from a fish out of water. Said, thank you, Suris, for the kind words on my last fan art. I hope you like this version of your avatar as the cult leader from Cult of the Lamb. I had a lot of fun drawing it. Well, you know what? I have a lot of fun looking at it. Thank you very much for this one, fish out of water. The next one we have here is an edited version of the cat hoodie that August did a little while back, which was an oversized cat hoodie, Suris. And the last one we have here is going to be from Big Alex. Said it's a work in progress. I was planning to make Suris into an idol singer, but I might do that next time when I draw Suris, since this is my first piece of fan art for them. I did something simple, since I'm not super familiar with their character design. I hope when I'm finished, they will at least like it. Well, Big Alex, I like what I see so far, so I can't wait to see the updated piece as you get more and more done. With that said, as always, everybody, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it in the fan art section of the Discord. With that said, if you haven't already, please hit the like button, subscribe, do all that other fun stuff, and, you know, you could also, go to Suris Vidya and check out that new video I did on what if Shadow the Hedgehog stayed dead in the Sonic series. Maybe do that. That would be incredibly helpful. Anyways, Warhawks, thank you for redeeming your points for an owl. And let's go ahead and get into the actual content itself. This is going to be a ride.
Mr. President, this is my 221st day of publicly transitioning.
God love you.
Thank you. I am extremely privileged to live in a state that allows me access to the resources I need, and that decision is just between me and my doctors.
I've never seen a woman look like that.
Why does that matter? Everybody looks different. Why the fuck does that matter?
Never. As soon as I look at it, something's off. You ain't fooling nobody. She's gonna have to.
She's put some work into this now.
Yeah, she got some skin in the game. You're gonna have to up them hormones. You're gonna have to up the estrogen.
But she's only been doing for like 100 and Don't get mad at me because I'm calling her. I'm just tired of this.
Don't get mad at me because I'm being a transphobe? What?
Before we get started with today's video, we have a message from our sponsor.
No, we don't. Nope. We have a message instead from my sponsor. If you haven't already, please go to ddlgplayground.com to get anything you could possibly want to pleasure yourself or your partner. But if you don't want to pleasure yourself, that's fine. You get something. You can get something for your partner instead. It's fine. It's fine. Do you like my content? It's fine. 10% off. Use coupon code Suris. Don't like my content? You know what I'm gonna say after this. Literally, me saying the next line will be enough for you to just be like, aha, he said the thing. Well, I'm not going to say the thing. I'm not going to say the thing. Just go to ddlgplayground.com. Use coupon code Suris. Get stuff. Get stuff. Anywho.
On ammo. Now the dime is fully complete. Code I told you 2 3. The train evolutionary offer within 30 days.
There we go.
Okay. Anyway, she's only been doing this for 130 days, so as these hormones starting to build up, it's like creatine. Once that creatine get in the muscles, you're going to make all kinds of gains in the gym. But anyway, this trans star, TikTok, over 8 million followers, she went and interviewed the president.
You know, man, I'm so pissed. I'm jealous too, man. You know how long I've been trying to meet Trump and you get to meet the president?
Oh, my God. So don't plug anything. Banana. Likes, pleasure. We've already said the thing to ourselves. Dylan. I love Dylan. Wait, axolotls. What? I'm confused. What? Did I miss something from earlier that happened? Okay, so they're saying, like, hey, you got to meet the president. Why didn't we get to meet Trump? Oh, the trans woman? Oh, okay, fair enough. Like, why didn't we get to meet Trump? I don't know, nor do I care. I don't know why I would care.
I mean, it's Joe Biden, but still. I still haven't met Trump yet. You just gonna prance your little ass in there because you've been transitioning for 130 days.
Are you sure that there's not more to her going there besides just, I've been transitioning?
That's gay privilege. That's gay privilege.
Hey, remember Biden was in
Are you sure that's gay privilege? I don't know if that's what that is. I don't know if that's what I would call that.
interviewed by Cardi B.
Yeah.
And now he's getting interviewed by her. He only interviews.
Don't forget The Rock.
The Rock. It's just
They're great. Just you gotta
They
hand
have-
it to them. You gotta hand it to them. They're great politicians.
Yeah.
They know how to get votes.
yeah. It's like they get in front of all of their fans, all the supporters who support them.
Yeah.
And who do you think they're gonna go vote for? Well, not all of them, but
Yeah, I'm thinking she's got 8 million followers. If let's say 8 million of them vote, I guarantee you a majority of them is voting for Joe Biden.
yeah, of course.
Okay.
That's why he allowed you to come. He really doesn't give a shit about you. Like when he was like, "Yes, God love you." He's smiling, looking at the ground. He can't even look at you in the face when he said it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that also has to do with the fact that with him being a geriatric old man. I'm not here to say Biden's perfect. I'm not here to say he's good at all. And I do have to agree with the Hodge twins. There is certainly a level of this that is Biden just doing what he can so that he can get reelected, or at the very least, make sure that whoever is in office in that second term, there's a D on it instead of an R. Most of us voted against Trump, not necessarily for Biden. When the election primaries come around, there's a lot of us who are going to be wishing that we could get somebody else besides Biden in the office. But I'm going to be honest, he's not really done too terribly bad. I've not had as many disagreements with him ultimately as I thought I would. Now, he's still very much a capitalist and still very much does a lot of shit for the benefit of corporations, and I'm not the biggest fan of that at all. But at the end of the day, most of us weren't voting for Biden. We were voting against Trump. And we got not Trump, which an incompetent is better than a fascist. I'm just going to say it.
Joe Biden, man, he's just disingenuous, man. When he said God love you, you don't know how God would react if he was in that room with you and she comes walking in.
Well, God loves everybody. That's God we talking.
Not the God I know. He's a damn tyrant. You read the Bible? I think she walks in there, bolt of lightning. Gone.
I like how we've got that little bit of commentary where you recognize that there's a divide there, right? Not between them specifically. A lot of this is banter for the sake of banter, but just the divide between the types of Christians, the types of Christians that say God loves me, God loves everybody, and the type of Christians that say no. God will smite you. God's evil. God's a tyrant. And then you got the third type who are like, well, God smites you because he loves you. He is abusive because he is loving. It's just a weird. The Jesus fandom is weird, guys. Never go to the Sonic fandom is bad. The Jesus fandom is really bad.
To a crisp.
Yeah, we all talk about a man that drowned everybody, right? Hey, no, build a
He
boat.
drowned a bunch
build
of
a boat. I'm gonna drown these niggas. I'm tired of playing with them.
Turning bitches into salt. Tell you, man, God is a tyrant.
Hey, man.
God love you.
Hey, let me say this. Okay, let's go to the next video.
Okay?
But many states have lawmakers that feel like they can involve themselves in this very personal process. Do you think states should have a right to ban gender-affirming health care?
I don't think any state or anybody should have the right to do that.
Who are they banning?
Yeah.
There are states that literally make it nigh impossible for you to transition. There are states whose, like, your local insurance companies in those states will not put your transition, your medical care on their tab. I'm sorry. Like, we're just like, who? Who does that? Who does that? We can look that up right now. We could do that right now. Let's see here. States where it is harder to transition. Oh, let's see here. Bop, 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 bop. States are all over the map when it comes to transgender healthcare. When a doctor recommended that Aiden Zingler undergo gender reassignment surgery, the 27-year-old hoped it would be the end of a lifetime of anguish. A science fiction writer living in Des Moines, Zingler was born into a female body, which caused increasing torment as the years passed. When Zingler experienced a period for the first time, it came as a shock and felt like your body had betrayed you. Surgery promised salvation. But Iowa's Medicaid agency refused to cover the surgery, saying that it was cosmetic and not a medical necessity that the Zingler's doctor said it was. Look, if I tell you you can't do a thing, or I tell you you can do a thing, but it costs you $300,000, in both situations, you don't get to do the thing. You can't afford it. You are not allowed to. That's basically saying that you can't get that health care. Axolotl says Dylan's the trans woman they were talking about. She's a trans woman on TikTok. Does the Days of Girlhood where she finds out things about being a woman. She's super wholesome and adorable and done a lot for trans people on both on and off of TikTok. Fair enough. Said it made me feel like I wasn't a person. Zingler, who's now 34 and identifies as non-binary, recalled recently in a phone interview it was disregarding what a doctor said were my medical needs. I felt like I wasn't a person and my rights weren't being regarded. States are diverging on whether to provide gender reassignment services such as hormone treatments and surgery under their Medicaid programs. Iowa recently enacted a law denying coverage for transition services. And Medicaid policies in 8 states exclude reassignment treatment. According to the Movement Advancement Project, a nonprofit group based in Ohio, officials from 2 of the 8 states, Ohio and Wyoming, said they no longer are following policies that exclude the service. 12 states specifically exclude transition-related services from health benefits for state employees. So yes, Hodge twins, both of ya, there are states that make it almost impossible for you to transition if you are trans.
Yeah, you're missing context.
Yeah, who are they? Yeah.
You need to be more specific.
There's no states that's banning adults from going in there and getting their tits and mushroom.
Boy, howdy. I feel like we just went over this. If we accept that there is functionally no difference between banning something and making something impossible to afford, in both cases, from a utilitarian point of view, people do not have access to the thing. People cannot do the thing. They cannot afford it, or they cannot get it because it is banned. Either barrier are barriers. If you want to piss and moan about the size of the barrier, it doesn't matter. The fact is there's a giant fucking barrier there. We just went over that.
Tip chopped off.
Put your tip right there. You're a woman.
That's crazy that affirms your gender.
It doesn't affirm anything. You just
I don't care if you-
mutilated.
What? How do you not... Wait, hold on. I have a question. If you, as a guy, lost your dick, we literally call our dick our manhood half the time. If you lost your dick, would that not make it seem to you like a part of you being a man, your ability to have sex, like that big part of your identity, that just kind of just disappeared? That was gone. That's not a part of you anymore. Would that not cause you some issues? Would that not cause you to feel some type of way, specifically in regards to being a guy? Same thing with trans people. Sometimes having the wrong genitalia in and on their body makes them feel like things are not right. Things aren't lining up right. Removing and otherwise changing genitalia to more suit the body image that you prefer, more suit the body image that you have in your mind, more suit the body image that you are reaffirmed every time you look in the mirror is more proper for you. When you have that, that literally affirms your gender. That's what it does.
I don't chop it off, right? I don't care if they stick that fist up in the woman, rip out all those fallopian tubes, all those ovaries, all those uteruses, all
Just
that.
one uterus is in there.
All
They got multiple fallopian tubes.
right?
You act like they got 2 uteruses.
They rip that out,
Yeah.
and somehow that makes you a man.
It doesn't.
Because it's more than that. It's also how you identify. It's also the other steps that you plan on taking there. It is being trans has almost everything to do with you, yourself, and you. Steps you take to get closer to that image of yourself. There's nothing unreasonable about that. You just sit there like, that doesn't make you a man. My guy, you've probably seen trans dudes at the gym just as buff as you, and you have not once thought that they weren't guys. You have not looked at fucking Buck Angel and gone, that's a woman. I'm sorry.
It does none of that.
Yeah. I do not disagree with the transgender life if it's your life. I believe in freedom. I believe in the Constitution, but
Do you really? Do you? Because it doesn't sound like you do. It sounds more like you want to impose how you feel on other people. I'm sorry. This whole, like, you're allowed to do it, but I'm allowed to make your life a living hell for doing it. I'm sorry, no. That version of freedom is fucking stupid.
you shouldn't continue to live a lie. You're still the same gender you are.
No, you're not. Gender and sex are two different things. The sex, the biological mechanism may be the same, or even technically different, because one of the markers we use for biological sex is phenotypical presentation, gametal presentation. We use gonadal presentation. We use 3 of the 5 markers we use for sex, because we use chromosomal, we use gametal, we use gonadal, we use genitalia, and we use phenotypical presentations. All 5 of those are factored into figuring out a sex for a person. If the phenotype has changed, if the gonadal representation has changed, if the genitalia representation has changed, and all you have left are the gametes and the chromosomes that pumped those gametes out, that's all you've got left, and we still have things like Klinefelters to account for. If all we have is those things that nobody can see, nobody interacts with, I guarantee you have never once thought about your X chromosome unless somebody told you to. But you have thought about your genitalia without somebody telling you to. If the only things left are things that don't factor into our lived experiences, then they are functionally non-factors.
You're just making it so you feel more like the gender you want to be.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, even if that were the case, even if I grant you that that's the case. But no, no matter how manly a trans woman may look, they are still a woman. Their gender identity, the way they see themselves, is still that of a woman. To argue otherwise is to argue that there is some area, some point at which they stop being a man and start being a woman, and that you can accurately identify where that is. Is it when the tits go become an A cup? Is it when the tits become a B cup? Is it after a top or a bottom surgery? Is it after laser hair removal? Which of these points makes someone go from girl to guy? And if the answer is, well, none of them, then you either have to be on the side of the gender never changes, or the gender changed before the surgeries, before the hormones. You have to be in one camp. And if your camp is the one of, well, the gender never changes, then despite somebody acting as a woman, existing as a woman, looking like a woman, talking like a woman, acting like a woman, fucking like a woman, everything like a woman except for, again, those gametes and those chromosomes, which, again, are not even a part of your lived experience, then you're the one arguing for a fantasy. You're the one arguing for a reality that simply is not. We don't live in the world where that person has the experiences of a man anymore. That's not, they literally will experience misogyny going outside. At what point, what would be required for you to be like, hey, this person changed? I'm actually curious. Would we still have... Let's say we live in a world where there's a gender bender machine. The gender bender, fender bender, personality mender 9000. And when somebody steps in it, it completely changes your makeup. You go in, a 200-pound dude with a decent musculature and a chiseled jawline. And you walk out with the softest, roundest face, the biggest D cups, the most voluptuous ass. You walk out, and even your chromosomes have been rewritten. The voice is changed as well. Everything has been changed by this one magic machine. Would you call that person a girl then, or would you still say that, no, you're still a man? Moreover, if they're still a man, is it gay if you're having sex with them because you're so attracted to them? The answer to all of these is you're wrong. The answer to all of this is that person who walked in and went into that machine, if they came out the other end and they identified more with that female body than the male body, guess what? That's a girl. That's a girl, my guy. Discord and Volt, thank you for the 100 bits. Said Ranma? Yep. I mean, I literally just described the plot of Ranma 1/2, and Ranma always sees himself as a guy. Even if he lived for 20 years in girl Ranma's body, he would still be a guy because he sees himself as a man in Ranma 1/2. But point is, if we had that magic machine, what do you think the Hodge twins would think? Because that's literally only 2 steps away from what we accomplish with surgery right now. Regular surgery is only is only the hormones and the genitalia and the phenotype. All the shit that matters anyway. Also, just throwing this out there, you understand that, like, the gonadal representation, one of the major factors with that is that your gonadal representation is what produces more of one or another hormone. Sometimes, not all the time, but most of the time. If you have testicles, then it is more likely that more testosterone will be produced in your body. But if you have ovaries, it is more likely that more estrogen will be produced in your body. That representation matters. And yes, axolotls, intersex is also a thing. I'm just curious. I wonder what would happen if we had the Hodge twins answer that question about the ultra gender bender, fender benders, person bender 9000. I wonder what their position would be. I'm curious.
It's nothing wrong with you dressing like if you're a man. It's nothing wrong per se, according under the Constitution, under the freedoms of this great country. If you're a man, and
that's a lovely little line there. There's nothing wrong according to the Constitution. Okay, cool. I don't give a fuck about the Constitution. I care about what you think. Do you think there's something wrong? You can't do this hiding behind. Like, I don't like it when people hide behind the Bible and say, like, I don't think it's wrong, the Bible finds it's wrong. Or, I don't think there's anything wrong with it because the Constitution doesn't say there's anything wrong with it. People existed longer than the Constitution. I don't give a fuck about the Constitution. I don't. I'm sorry.
you want to live your life as a woman, so be it. So long as it makes you happy, but you're still a man, you should still be treated as a man.
Yeah.
So they get to live the life of a woman, but the other half of that, which is being treated as a woman, they're not allowed to get. I'm sorry, no. I disagree with that. I disagree with that entirely. You have the ability, you as a person, you get to make the choice over how much of a bigot you are. You can choose to be more or less of one. You can choose to treat people how they want to be treated, or you can choose to treat people how you want to treat them. One of them is a selfish thing, and one of them is not. If somebody says, hey, I'd like to be referred to as a woman, I'd like to be treated as a woman, then one, on whose authority do you say that, no, I'm not going to do that? And two, why would you not? For what benefit? The only person who benefits is you. You can't even hide behind the whole, like, I just don't believe it's true, so you're not going to force me to lie. Yeah, bitch, you lie all the time about shit. You probably lied to your kids about Santa Claus just this morning. Who the fuck cares? If people are happier, if your metric for why somebody should transition is if it will make you happier, then could you please maintain that same position when we're having the conversation about how you treat them? If it will make you happier, works both ways.
Yeah.
You just,
I mean, we don't live in a theocracy.
Yeah.
You know, we live by the
I wouldn't
Constitution.
want to live in a theocracy.
Yeah.
Hey, guilty, sodomy, 30 years hard labor. Now, I'm not talking about gay people. I'm talking about straight people, too.
Yeah, sodomy is...
You get sucked off, you take it in the butt, sodomy, 30 years. That's what would happen to you if we live in a theocracy.
Hey, look.
How did theocracy even come into the conversation?
What?
Guilty. Adultery. 30 years hard labor.
How you say adultery?
Guilty. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. I seen you look at that bitch. 30 years hard labor.
Guilty. Gluttony. You're a fat.
They're just milking this one. Okay, so they're comedians, right? They understand the rules of 3s and 10s. Like, the rules of 3s and 10s in comedy, same joke 3 times gets funnier. Same joke any time before, like, the 10th mark, probably not as funny. Said, wait, they are? Yeah. It's why it gets hard when I'm trying to review their content, because I'm always... Like, if it's an edited video, it's super easy, because I can just cut out the bits I don't care about. But when I'm doing it live, which I do for most of my content, I'm having to sit through the comedy bits, and I have to accept that some of the comedy bits kind of funny. Like, would say, boom, sodomy, boom, adultery, boom. That was funny. Now we're at the 4th. We're not as funny anymore. The joke's going to be progressively less funny now that you keep saying it.
That bitch. 10 years hard labor. That's if this place was theocracy. I don't believe in all that.
What else?
Living up to the Bible is very difficult. It's damn near impossible.
Yeah, if you even look at a woman and think about... Guilty. 8 years hard labor.
Okay.
Hey, but the only states are banning any kind of transition surgery stuff is for kids.
Yeah.
Adults can go do it.
No, they put barriers up to the adults too, guys. I don't even have to justify it anymore. I literally just went into an article showing that is the case. We've already proven this point.
Left that very important detail out.
Yeah.
I believe in freedom. I believe in the Constitution. If you're a man, you want to chop your dick off, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. If you want to get breast implants, go ahead. But you shouldn't push this on kids because the kids are not
Kids aren't even factored into the conversation. How did they even come up?
making that decision. Their parents is. The kids going to have to live with that for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
That's what you should be addressing.
These states are saying wait till you're 18. That's all.
Yeah, just
No, they're saying a lot more than that. Again, we already covered that.
be 18.
Hey, you know how the left always make out capitalism to be evil, like it's you
Yeah.
take advantage of people?
Yeah.
These doctors who's making money off these surgeries, they're taking advantage of you people.
Making a lot of money.
Making a lot of money. That's the only reason why they're doing it.
Yeah.
Do you think that every time somebody does a surgery, a transaction happens? Like somebody walks in like, hey man, I just need one of those, I need some money right now. And then just like, they just hand the doctor a solid 20 and they get a breast implant and a handy. Do you think that's how hospitals work? Like, doctors are well paid, plastic surgeons are well paid, but it's not on a piece by piece basis, as far as I know. Does anybody know doctors who work on commission like that? I don't know if there are any. Are there? I could be wrong here, but it feels like they made up a guy.
Y'all think they really give a shit about y'all?
Some of them do. There are some doctors who ideologically ally themselves very heavily with trans people and lefties. But okay, let's pretend they don't exist.
These surgeries are tens of they're making all kinds of money. Just
Oh, they're tens of thousands? Oh, wait, so you agreed that there's a financial barrier? Holy fucking shit.
for you to go in there, pour some alcohol on your mushroom tip, put some iodine on it, and
That's it? That's all he do? No
I think-
painkillers?
yeah, they give him that too.
Chop my dick off. You got to put me to sleep.
You're ignoring everything else that happens during a trans surgery, but I guess it's just a joke.
So that big job. All right, I think we got.
I want to
video.
wake up and have a beautiful vagina right there.
Man, I can't wait till they start doing these affirming surgery where they get mushroom tips. They're gonna be Frankencocks.
Hey, taking dicks off of men and put them on.
Wait, do you not know that these surgeries that give people dicks already exist? Did you not know that? Wait. How did you not know that we do that too? I'm so confused.
He's gonna have a big old them Frankenstein slash. It's gonna be a side of it.
With them two knobs sticking out. Frankencock.
Hey, let's go to the next video.
Thank you. And it feels like Republicans have turned trans and non-binary people into this thing to blame society's downfall on in some ways. And this narrative is not only dangerous to our mental health, but also our physical safety. And particularly trans women of color are being murdered at an alarming rate.
More than any other group of people.
Thank you.
Okay, so Republicans are dangerous to y'all's mental health?
Yeah, they literally write in policies that make it impossible and even harder to be trans in the United States. As a result, yes, your mental health gets hurt. Also, they'll be here in Macon, Georgia on the 18th. Is that a thing that you go and you like actually badger them at, or is that a thing where they do comedy for a little while and you're supposed to say, "Oh yes, that is funny"?
I've just seen a bitch rip her damn uterus out and put it in a jar.
No, you didn't. What? Also, how does that affect you? You just gonna stand there on that one? You gonna more words, dead air?
All the Republicans are saying you can't do it to your kids. Let your kids grow up.
No, they're not. It starts with you can't do it to your kids, and then it goes, well, you can't put it on Medicaid, and then it goes, well, you can't do it if you have this particular mental health condition, and then it goes, oh well, you can't do it and it can't be on employee insurance. And oh, wait, all of those barriers already exist. Republicans have already done that. I'm sorry. We already live in a world where Republicans have limited trans people's ability to be themselves. We already live in that world. Again, we looked at an article about it earlier in this video. We've already done that research. It took 2 seconds. 2 seconds is all it takes.
Let them be kids, and if they want to do that when they're adults, that's all they're saying.
No, they're not.
It's not
Stop
really
lying.
it's not really a liberal or conservative issue.
Yes, it is. It literally is. It almost always comes down to them.
It's more of a morality
Yeah, protect
issue.
the kids. Yeah.
You keep saying protect the kids. Kids aren't a part of this conversation right now. How do kids factor into this conversation? They have not been brought up by the speaker that you're talking about. They have not been brought up by Biden. They have not been brought up by anybody except you.
We're protecting kids because kids that make that decision, which they're not making a decision, let me reiterate.
I'm just going to skip ahead. It's you saying the same shit. I
Are
don't
living
care.
through their children.
They're living through their kids. Harm and rape.
They said
Yeah,
it?
they said it in that video.
Damn, I
Just
missed that.
said that.
No, I ain't hear that.
Rape.
Where's the next video?
That black transgenders are dying at an alarming rate.
Where's the next video?
Oh, I thought they already said that.
No, I ain't hear that. They said it?
They said it in that video.
Damn, I
They
missed
did.
that.
Yeah, they said black transgenders are dying.
I don't. Is it just me, or when somebody calls trans people transgenders, does it feel a little otherizing? Maybe I'm wrong, but that feels very much like you're trying to otherize or stigmatize someone. It feels really gross.
At a higher rate. It makes a lot of sense. Black men are dying at a higher rate than everybody. Yeah. It's because they're black, and black on black crime is real.
It has nothing to do with black on black crime, you fucking idiots. Black on black crime looks identical to white on white crime because most people tend to live not in mixed neighborhoods, but in neighborhoods that used to be segregated. Neighborhoods that just so happen to heavily favor one skin tone over another. Most neighborhoods are this way. So, as a result, most violent crime happens to people who you are in the proximity of. You can't just be like, yeah, blacks die at a higher rate because of black on black crime. Like, no, you don't get to do that. And I know I just did the whole, like, I just did that otherizing thing myself with my own language there. I should watch myself. I should check myself before I Shrek myself. But it's a scapegoat. The black on black crime thing, that's been a scapegoat for a long time. And it feels really awkward when you bat for that.
Yeah, why are these black transgenders dying?
Because they're black. Black people killing each other.
No, it's not that.
Black men are dying at a high rate. We're an endangered species.
No, they're saying that black transgenders are dying at a high rate. They're not saying why they're dying. Yeah. They leave that open because they want to give the impression that white supremacists are cracking down black.
Did you say train or transgender?
I said
transgender.
Trans. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not.
What's the difference?
Well, I think train is derogatory.
Oh, trainee is more like a
derogatory. It's like the N-word for black people.
No, trainee is like a drag queen.
What? Yep. T-slur. It's like a drag queen. No, it's not. It's just there's a trans person. Okay, you know what? No. It's man. I'm going to say something that's going to get my channel demonetized, and it's going to get this entire taken down. It's like if I just called you Blackie. It's like if I just did that. It's like if I did that. Yeah, it's not quite the N-word, but you know what the fuck I meant. It sounds awful. It is awful. It is a terrible thing to call a person. When you do that, and to say, like, oh, it's drag queens. No, drag queens, I hate to say this, drag queens have nothing to do with transitioning. Drag queens have nothing to do with trans people. There's a lot of drag queens that are just cis. Drag queens is one thing. Trans people are another thing. Is there overlap between the two? Sure. There's overlap between gamers and people who read books. That doesn't mean there's a correlation other than the fact that we're humans who like media. So these two are like a vacuum for thought. Yeah, they are.
No, training is like the N-word, I think, for black people.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's like the Nigger.
Okay.
They don't like to be called training.
How do two people who have so much to say about trans people not know this? Moreover, if they know this, then why are they comfortable still saying the word? It feels weird. It just feels weird.
I'm just saying it. Just correcting is pissing them off. So you can't do that.
So that's the reason why they leave it open. They want to give the impression that white supremacists are coming, but that's not actually happening. These people are dying.
White supremacy isn't actually happening. Boy, howdy, you know nothing about police statistics. You absolute idiots. Is there any more we're gonna get out of this video? Do we think so? Do they show any more? Okay, they show a little more of the video.
And at the hands of other gay people. That's what's really happening.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
This whole interview was misinformation. It was disinformation. It was fake news. But
you showed 2 minutes tops of the whole thing. You ignored everything. What?
Because the only thing Republicans are trying to prevent is parents making horrible decisions for their kids so that they have to live.
The kids weren't even part of the fucking conversation. Go back to the video itself.
Hey, I think we got one more video.
Got another video?
Yeah.
And do you have any messages to the families of trans folks that are seeking, options for their children,
Crazy as hell.
but are struggling to find resources? Do you have a message to those parents?
Yeah, I do. This is blood of your blood, bone of your bone.
What?
And
What the hell does that mean?
It means they're family by blood. That's what that statement means. I'm not sure how you never heard it before.
things are changing, but
She's
it's
like,
a
"What are you
matter
talking
of
about?"
us acknowledging
Actually
that
wanted to suck 'em
there's
off.
nothing to be,
What?
just because it's different, there's nothing to be fearful about.
Thank you for your
people
questions,
are
Dylan. For using your platform
batshit
to empower others.
What's crazy about saying, hey, this whole trans thing is weird and new for some people, but it's nothing to be afraid of? How is that crazy? What?
One nut talking to another nut. You should not. I mean, that term transgender children is an oxymoron.
No, it's not. Okay. Now that they've actually talked about kids in the video, sure, we are liable to talk about kids here. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's talk about that for a minute. So, what does the word trans kid mean? What does the word transgender kid mean? Well, first of all, you need to understand that if somebody is trans, that does not mean they are transitioning. Trans is not a shorthand for transition. I know it sounds like it could be, but it's not. It was a bit of confusion I had a few years ago, too. That's not what it means. Trans is literally just the Latin phrase, meaning to go beyond or to go above or to go to a different way. That's what it means. Trans like transportation, not trans like transition. So, what is a trans kid? A trans kid is somebody who you consider a kid who happens to not identify with the gender they were assigned at birth. What does it mean to be assigned a gender at birth? A doctor looked at your penis and said a boy. There. You were assigned that. You had no say in it. You had no position there. You were just given that right there. You were going to be considered a boy. If you do not agree with that, if that doesn't suit you, if you feel weird when you call yourself a boy, when you act like a boy, when you see that, when you feel that, that's what being trans is. It doesn't necessarily come with dysphoria, the discomfort, the pain, the psychological issue of feeling like you are in the wrong body. It doesn't necessarily have to have that, but feeling the euphoria of being in the other body, of dressing up that way, of acting that way. Said, oh my god, trans and cis words used in organic chemistry. Yeah, it's almost as if these words have been used for other things, and people freak out about them now for no good reason. So, that kid has not transitioned. That kid is not undergoing surgeries or any shit like that. That kid just does not feel right in the body that they are in. That's what a trans kid is. Now, what do you do with a kid that tells you that they are trans? Well, it's pretty simple. If they are of the age where they are starting to experience puberty or the early forms of it, the early signs of it, then you give them puberty blockers. Because if they find when they come of age that they still feel that discomfort, they still feel wrong, then forcing them to go through a puberty that does not align with their gender is a type of abuse if the option is available to go otherwise. Puberty blockers themselves only have a handful of side effects, biggest one being calcium deficiency. That is literally like the biggest side effect that you have to worry about with puberty blockers. There is a chance of infertility, but whenever you mess with hormones of any kind, even when you have late stage puberty, like very late stage puberty, a chance of infertility happens in all those situations. Most of the side effects of puberty blockers are nigh identical to the side effects of late on stage puberty in general. And how do you reverse puberty blockers? Because reversing a transgender surgery, that's a bit of an ordeal, but how do you reverse a puberty blocker? You just stop taking the damn thing. How long do puberty blockers work? Usually about 5-ish years. They buy you about 5-ish years of time to consider your gender, to consider how you feel, consider what your options might be. They buy you the time to go from prepubescent to as close to adult as the doctors are willing to allow the blockers to continue. When the blockers are removed, you will maintain, as you would in a late stage puberty, you will just have that puberty happen. Those hormones will start coming in, and you will start getting all the benefits, or in some cases, drawbacks of puberty. unless other hormones and other hormone therapy are introduced into the body. And if that happens, that typically doesn't happen until 16, 17, 18. Basically, age of consent is when that generally starts happening. Surgeries generally don't happen until you've had at least a year on hormone therapy for your body to change its shape, change its fat distribution, and change the way it comports itself. Like, it's very awkward for a trans woman who has not undergone surgery yet to get breast implants if she has not also gone through hormone replacement therapy. Because breasts grow naturally on HRT. They might grow to only an A cup or something, or they may grow all the way into something that you would see closer in an anime. The point is, we don't do those surgeries because there are side effects to those surgeries if done before hormone replacement. You do not know what the breast tissue is going to look like in a trans woman until they've had about a year on hormones so that her natural breast can grow in, and then we can figure out shit for surgery later, if top surgery is even required in that case. Y'all would know this if the amount of time that you spent bashing trans people was instead spent researching them. But now that they actually got to the point of talking about kids, yay, instead of listening to the last minute of them ramble about that clip, I just wanted to get everything out there about everything that I knew off the top of my head about what the fuck a trans kid even is, so that we could have that conversation there for people to tell me I'm wrong in the comment section below. Of course, the Hodge twins aren't going to see this episode because they don't see any of my shit. Probably for the best. Avalon says all booba are good booba. It's true. Sakura says, I did hear about a cis man who got breast implants to win a bet. Right, but a cis man is less likely to have complications from a breast surgery than a trans woman is in the early stages of HRT. Because my hormone levels as a cis guy are probably going to remain consistent for the next 10 to 20 years. Or if I were to take HRT, my hormone levels would no longer be consistent, and now there are other factors that need to be accounted for over and above my current state of being. They would just misunderstand your points anyway. Wouldn't it be great if, like, an episode of my show got showcased on an episode of their show, creating a cycle of the people on their show that hate me coming in and, well, basically just increasing views a fuck ton? Hodge twins more like hodgepodge twins. Haha, I'm funny and original. But that's as far as I can get into that topic. I just can't. So, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I want to know what counter-arguments y'all might have, either to me or to the Hodge twins. I do read pretty much everything that comes through my feed. And if you haven't already checked out that Shoutout the Hedgehog video I did, you should probably do that. It's not on this channel, though. If you want to see it, I'll go ahead and actually pull it up right here. It is, well, I say I'm going to pull it up here. Turns out I'm really bad at doing that. View on YouTube. It's this video right here. You should see it. It's What If Shadow Stayed Dead. It's a good 30 minutes long. It's a decent What If video. It's for If Shadow Stayed Dead in Sonic Adventure 2, and we had to do Sonic Heroes without him. I don't know why it's taking so long to actually load. That feels really weird.
For those who...
There we go. There's the loading. It also has original art from the artist Smacko. So if you want to see some of that, that is also in here as well. That said, though, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below of everything. Hopefully, I'll see you all on Suris video for that video. And as always, everyone, insert end video tagline here.